Hey guys, welcome back to the Wood Metal Workshop. I'm Kent, sometimes known as the Bearded Welder. If you want to support the channel, run down there below and check out the store and buy a t-shirt or a mug or something. I don't even remember what's in there anymore. Anyhow, got a new project starting today. Going to be several parts. Don't know the timing on them, but this first part is the first part. Got to get this done before we can do anything else. So let me point you over here and we'll show you what we're doing. There. It's a winch. It's heavy. 12,000 pound, Badlands Apex, synthetic rope. You know, what everybody on YouTube's using. Anyhow, got some other parts on the table here. First thing we need to do is get this unboxed. I'm hoping there's a template for the whole pattern in here. If not, we'll figure it out. Anyhow, so we need a winch for the trailer, for the truck, and a little surprise. At some point, we're going to build new bumpers for the work truck with matching receiver hitches. Now, you can easily set this up so you could plug it into any receiver hitch on any vehicle and it would work just fine. However, I've seen a receiver hitch winch mount fail. With the one connection point, one pin, 2-inch, you're pulling at a little bit of angle, it starts bending and twisting and does all kinds of mean things to a receiver tube. Either the one that's on the mount or the one that's on the vehicle. So that's why we have two, so we can have the force transferred at frame width, just like if you had a regular permanently mounted winch bumper, winch plate, however you wanted to do it. And our hole centers seem to be 254 millimeters, which happens to be 10 inches according to this. And the other way, it's 4.49 inches. Yay. 114 millimeters. That edge of the hole. Yep. That's 10 inches. Let's see, will it sit on its lid? That is mine, not somebody else's. Basically 5.5 inches. They say 4.49. So make the hole in the plate just a little bit big. So what I've got here is a piece of 1/4-inch plate, bigger than we need, and two pieces of 2-inch, looks like 1/4-inch wall. One's galvanized, one's not. Just happens to be what I had laying around. And somewhere here. Alright, we've got some layout done here. Decided the size of the plate needs to be 6.5 inches wide. And the length matches what we have on the bumper build for the Project Deerslayer. Layout is probably your most important thing, so take your time. Make sure you get it right the first time. Ask me how I know. Spent a lot of time remaking parts because I didn't take time doing the layout on them. Now we got our size laid out. We're measuring for the mounts for the fair lead. We're going to mark out a couple of tabs here. Center line first. Line up center on our fair lead. Mark our holes. Figure out how wide we want the little turn-ups that fair lead's gonna bolt to. Get that all marked out. it's nice having the parts right there so you can use them to measure directly off of. And make sure they're exactly the same. Here, I'm checking it for rough spots. There were a few rough spots on the inside of the fair lead where you don't get a whole lot of rope rubbing. Just using a socket to round those out. But yeah, so there was some rough spots on the inside that I went and took a sand or two off camera and got all those rough spots off because you don't want that synthetic line catching on anything. Here we're getting our holes marked out.
1 inch. 2, 3, 4.
The pattern's 10 inches by 4.49 inches. Why they didn't make it 4.5 inches, don't ask me. This happens when you have
1, 2, 3, 4.
the company that makes it working out on the metric system, and the company that's selling it on the imperial system. Which I find really interesting that we still call it imperial, because we haven't been part of the British Empire in a few hundred years now. Anyhow, it is what it is. Spring-loaded center punch, which is good for an initial mark on the holes, but you don't want to count on that for when you're setting your drill bit. And I marked that one wrong, so I caught it and wiped it out and moved it over to the right mark. I had 2 marks there. I'm going to fire up the plasma cutter and burn this out fairly quickly. I find that full face darkened shield is awesome for guys who wear glasses. Catch some sparks, catch your eyes, and it allows you to see what you're doing. Just using the square as a guide to cut along the line there for the stand up so they're going to hold the fair lead. Little freehand. Doing it this way, I didn't have to do a plunge cut to that center, which was kind of nice. Little zip, little zap, little zoop, and we'll have this part ready for the next step. See, I'm just grabbing it with vice grip so it doesn't fall off completely. There we go. I'm going to knock the dross off the back. Just gonna clip the corners off, and then I'll grind to that point, to the mark later. Since I had the plasma cutter out, it's handy. All right, drilling for the mounting holes for the winch. A little easier to line up with that think that 3/16, that's what I usually grab for a pilot bit. I usually buy them about a dozen at a time. It's a good size to what was a pilot bit. Switch into the bit for the actual holes. Alright. This is why you clamp your work down. Ow. Fortunately, that wasn't moving up. You know, you think I learned my lesson, didn't you? Clamp it down. I got away with it that time. So we got 6.5 here. I think we're going to do 8. So 14.5. Let me go get these cut and I'll be back. Alright guys, we're back at it. This one went ahead and
already had a hole through it.
Tubes to the
So I'm going to
proper
put a matching
length.
hole through that one. Anyways, we're going to get this dressed up and ready to
Grab the grinder
be welded.
here. But before we get slap disc on there, just using that to clean it up for welding. Once again, you think I learned my lesson. Nope. I'm just an accident waiting to happen. Yep. Now I win. It's not like I even had to go anywhere to get the tool. It was laying right there. See, I learned. Moving it over to the vise. I'm gonna grind the galvanizing off this so I can weld it. This is material that I think I mentioned earlier. Or just had drops that are laying around trying to use up some of the drops. Miko is trying to help and put the
No, you can't have my gloves.
set up the welder.
Hey, no. He really wants to help. He really does. Okay, we're going to get this tacked in here really good. We're going to check our measurements.
Confirming my measurements. This is just to make sure that it's tight down to the plate. You notice the plate has a little warp in it there. Picked it up while cutting out with the plasma cutter. Didn't get video of it. The camera died, but later in the process, I took some 1.5 angle and made a strong back across the bottom there to keep that flat. And make it a little heavier because it wasn't going to be heavy enough to begin with.
Got some solid tacks in there. I'm just gonna make it a little bit bigger and work our way around, trying to keep from warping it too badly. You can see the extra sparks in this picture. That's galvanized. My recommendation when welding stuff like this, if you can move it around and get it in the best position for welding, do it. Much easier to weld it in this position than any other position.
That might even be YouTube worthy. So, yeah, go ahead and roast me. Tell me how bad that weld is. Give ourselves a little more.
We were just lining it up on the edge. I'm going to clamp it in place. And this is where the camera battery died, and I didn't notice. And I missed the fun part of firing up the torch and heating up these tabs and bending them over. So I'm just setting the square to the dimension I want there, away from the edge of the table. And just tapping it into place. We're just rounding over those corners before we bend them, because it'd be easier to do it now than later. Okay, I'm loving these benchmark abrasives. Setting up the wrench, making sure it's set right, and that's where the camera died. Okay, here we're making some handles so we can carry this thing around and move it fairly easily. And we're just cutting these V-notches into this tubing. For this 1-inch tubing, you can cut, I believe it's 5 V's 1/4 inch apart. And so a quarter inch V on the wide end. 5 of them will give you a 90-degree radius.
There we go.
Yep, just like that. Perfect 90s. There's a little spring back in it, so go ahead and grab a clamp and check in to make sure it'll go square. Might have to adjust it just a hair, but yeah. So now you see they're all welded up, ready to be attached to the frame. I was pulling that one in slightly. It's a little crooked. Get those fully welded out, and you'll be ready to prep it up for paint. Yeah, stuck with us this long. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe, find questions, comments, put them down below. Yeah, there we go.
Well, there you go, guys. All cleaned up, ready for powder coat. So next time you see it, it'll be all powder coated, and we'll be mounting the winch to it, and hopefully setting up the mount on the trailer if it doesn't get too cold. Or I guess I can turn the heat off. It's fall. Anyhow, we'll be back.